Hey, this is Ed Keay-Smith. I am the co-host of the My Livelihood podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Have our lovely co-host as well, Lois Keay-Smith,
Hi,
on
everybody.
this episode. Hey, Lois, how you going?
Hi.
Yes, our surnames are the same. We are married, so it's not a coincidence. So Lois and I have put this podcast together, and we thought it would be a good thing to help people out at the moment with how things are going in the world and ongoing, regardless of that. So the purpose of what the My Livelihood podcast is, it's about helping people to create and generate income, often from multiple streams, both online and offline. So that's an area that Lois and I have a fair bit of experience in different aspects. So we're going to bring both of our many years of experience into this podcast to help people out and give some guidance in that respect. So Lois, who is it that we're really targeting? Who's the audience for this podcast, and who do you think is going to benefit from tuning into this?
Yeah, I think the audience is going to be quite wide and varied, but it's definitely going to be people who are maybe having challenges at the moment and are realizing that perhaps having an extra income or a few prongs of incomes or multiple streams of incomes, or however you want to say it, could be really helpful at this time. And certainly that's something we're looking at ourselves and appreciating the ones we've already built. So I think the people can be people with jobs who are looking to add on, and that's sometimes referred to a side hustle, but we'll get into that in the next episode about the portfolio career. It could be self-employed people like ourselves who want to add a few strings to our bow so that we've got more diversification and more incomes that way. Or it could be people who want to launch a product or an idea and bring it to market and not quite sure how to go about that and want support from other people. So I think there's many people out there who are looking to secure their livelihood a bit more through multiple streams of income, but also, just generate more ideas and more positive outcomes as well.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of insecurity out there. A lot of people have lost their jobs, so they may be down to no income at all. So a lot of the things we talk about, some of them you could probably get up and running fairly quickly, but the intent is for the majority of what we're talking about to be an addition to what you're actually creating from your job, as Lois said. So, there's going to be a smorgasbord of various things that people can pick from this. Some ideas people will relate to and gel to and want to move towards, others not, which is fine. There are no rules. You've got to do something that fits your interest and your skill set. So I thought we'd go into a bit of our background because there's many people who may be watching this who know who we are. We've known them for many years, so we don't need to do an intro, but there's lots who'll be tuning in who have no idea who this Ed and Lois people are. So I'll let you go first. Who's Lois Keay-Smith? What does she do?
Thanks, Ed. In terms of my livelihood, my first career was in the financial services industry. So I worked in corporate relations with the stock exchange. I'd worked in insurance prior to that, and then I worked in superannuation. I always say I was in the people side of finance because I did the PR and the client relations and all those sorts of things and relationship building, rather than the more technical financial aspects of that. And so 15 years in that, and then I decided that I wanted to change career and took 2 years and read 25 books to decide that I would be a career counsellor and career consultant and coach and hang up my shingles. So this year will be this year will be 15 years in career wisdom, and I had previous 15 years in financial services. So I've kind of evened up now. But along that journey, I've often had what I term a portfolio career. So I've diversified my income along the way with different things. So we'll go into that a bit more when we talk portfolio power, which is our next episode. But that's been my journey, and I've often appreciated the fact that I could develop my business and sometimes go into things that interested me, go macro, go micro, and really, as one of my values is variety, I could, also allow that to flourish in that sort of environment. And how about you, Ed?
Well, you should know, but
Ed was my first client as a career
Yeah,
client.
I was before she was doing career consulting.
Before I was qualified.
Yeah, she was practicing on me.
Mm.
So I run a business called Online Impact. So we're a digital marketing agency based in Perth in Australia, in Subiaco to be exact. And one of the reasons I got into this whole digital marketing space was before this, I had a computer supply business, and I was looking at different ways of how I could attract clients. So I was looking at whatever the current form of marketing and advertising was online, and that was just when Google AdWords, as it was known back then, now known as Google Ads, when that came about. It started about 2002, which is when I started mucking around with it here in Australia, and then had friends asking me about how to use it and what to do, and I wasn't that enamored with the whole computer side of things, and got sort of did a bit of a switch over into starting up consulting on how to run Google ad campaigns and managing Google ad campaigns for clients, which has then grown into a wider spread of digital marketing services in terms of overall strategy, setting up websites, doing the search engine optimization for search engines like Google, as well as doing all the normal sort of email marketing, copywriting stuff as a service as well. And things like domain names, picking the right domain name, buying and selling domain names. So these are lots of things we'll get into as we go down the path of this podcast. We'll deep dive into some of those. So basically anyone who has a web presence, who needs to improve that web presence, get more traffic to their website, visitors to their website, to convert those into sales, we can help them do that. There you go. In a nutshell.
There you go. And of course, why Ed and I have combined forces here with My Livelihood is that, well, a couple of reasons. We did discover over time, I'm coming from the career angle, so helping people work out what they want to do with their career going forward, whether they've had a disruption or whether they just don't like what they're doing and want to change. And often that leads them into paths that could be about going and taking some of their ideas online. But also we would like to travel more as a couple, and take work which is quite mobile, particularly Ed's work's been very mobile. And I was lucky enough to receive a Churchill Fellowship late last year, and this year at around this time nearly, or a few months hence, we were to be travelling overseas to a number of countries to take that on. So I was looking at ways to move my business a bit more onto the digital platform, which I had started to do. And this is with what's going on in the world right now, that's just accelerated that progress. So Ed and I really joined forces, myself from the career angle, Ed from the digital space, but we both have a real passion for bringing people together and helping them develop and connecting people as well. So we figured this is a great way to do that.
Yeah, so we'll have lots of different people on the show. It won't just be Lois and I talking. We'll have different guests coming on over time with different experiences and different expertise and things they can contribute to helping you, the listener, get the most out of building a side hustle, for want of a better word, generating any other source of income. And as it happens, the majority of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is digital. There are obviously the restrictions that we've got now with a lot of the physical world businesses, but I think that's the way it's going anyway. It's always been sort of heading more online every year that passes. So it's getting to that point now where digital is a very, very low cost way of entry into running an online business and starting to make money compared to sort of traditional bricks and mortar, so that you have a lot more options of getting started. So we'll have some more guests to talk about lots of different things. Our first one that we've got coming up is Mr. Steve Wells. Would you like to give a bit of a background on Steve Wells?
Yeah, so first up we've got Ed and I doing something called Portfolio Power, which we'll be launching next. And then our first guest, Steve Wells, who's a internationally known psychologist who teaches energy techniques and super important in these times where people are very anxious. They're worried about their livelihood. They're worried about how things are going to go in the future, and then even in the near future. So Steve's very generously sharing his time with us to share some great tips and techniques, and I think you'll enjoy him. He's a lot of fun as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, so our next episode will be coming up following this, then we'll have Steve after that, and we'll keep you up to date with what's actually happening. If you're listening to this as a podcast, well, you've already found it, so that's great, but you can tune in to the podcast on different places like iTunes, on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, etc. All the good places where podcasts are kept, we will have ours there. If you're watching this, you're probably watching it on YouTube already, or straight off the mylivelihood.com.au website. But yeah, the core place to actually watch the podcast will be on YouTube. So we'll have all of the links and show notes for these episodes on the mylivelihood.com.au website. So you can get the latest information and what's happening there. So thanks, Lo. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks, Ed.
No worries. We'll catch you on the next episode of the My Livelihood podcast. Okay. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.